And now I'm happy to give you a short introduction to our first speaker, Mr. Indrek Jakobson, who is one of the leading experts on innovation in Estonia and who I happen to know for quite a long time. And until very recently, he was heading the Department of Center of Innovation in Tallinn University of Technology and was working there for quite many years. So we are certainly very happy that Indrek could be here. Unfortunately, Indrek, the time slot which was given by organizers is not too long, and he could easily speak until the lunch. But I hope we will be able to get the most important points within the 20 minutes. So Indrek, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rene. And as I see, the first slide is on the wall. So, first of all, I have to say hello, everybody, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, dear hosts. And what I will tell you in this first presentation, I will not tell you overview about taxonomy of innovation. My presentation is the first. It means it's the most theoretical, it's the most maybe giving the widest overview. What I tried to do during those 20 minutes, I tried to give you an overview about different approaches which exists if we are talking about innovation. Not very classical. I have one slide classical approach to innovation. But mostly, I only to try to show you how many different approaches we have if we are talking about innovation. So, and secondly, as Rene very shortly introduced me, here you see I continue. At the moment, I'm lecturer in Tallinn University of Technology. I'm teaching MBA students in innovation management. I'm teaching PBA students in innovation policy issues every year. And more than 10 years ago, I have practiced and worked in the Ministry of Communications and Economic Affairs. So I'm more policy maker and policy expert than innovation expert. But if we are talking about innovation policy, I think maybe we have to stress on my presentation mostly on policy issues and less on innovation issues, because next people will tell you much more about innovation as a whole. And at the end of my slides, not on the first slides, of course, I have put some words about where I got my slides, but let's go on the start. First of all, if we are talking about innovation, the most classical man for innovation is of course Schumpeter. And we cannot talk about innovation and not to talk about Schumpeter. When I'm teaching students, I every time ask, who was the first guy who started to talk about innovation? Who will say me, this gets maximum points and he can go home. Unfortunately, nobody could answer me. I have asked this answer from very smart professors and scientists all over the world I have met. Nobody knows. Because if we are talking about innovation, if we are talking about what have told us Schumpeter, Schumpeter has written a lot about new products. Schumpeter has written a lot about changes. Schumpeter didn't tell about innovation. Schumpeter was politically very good guy, but unfortunately during his life he didn't know that he will be an innovator's icon. Sorry. A lot of people thought that maybe Karl Marx was one of the first who really opened the understanding what is innovation in a very short way. because Marx was the first who suggested that it could be associated with waves of economic growth, not contractive, much earlier. Because about contractive waves, everybody who has studied economics has heard, but Karl Marx has those ideas much earlier. And if we are talking about more concretely about innovation in industry, then we can talk about those scientists as Habermas and Atterberg, but they came much, much later. So, here is one definition about innovation. It's not official definition, it's not a legal definition. It's just one possibility, maybe from hundreds, maybe from thousands or more definitions we have about innovation. And that's the reason why I don't stop very long time on this definition. I just read it that innovation is the management of all activities involved in the process of idea generation, technology development, manufacturing and marketing of a new improved product or manufacturing process or equipment. Very wide definition. But let's try to understand. But now is coming the first new approach. And what can be innovation be? Very shortly, the act of introducing something new. I stress in this definition one word, introducing, not inventing. But if we are talking about innovation very widely, we can say that innovation is everything. What's first of all surprises us. Secondly, makes life easier in a novel way, a new way. It means something which has economic impact. Innovation can be something that we can do in a less expensive way. Every economic agent is every day doing innovation. They are trying to do something in a less expensive way. And innovation is something that gives us something we didn't ever know we wanted. If we are talking in the most simple things, an example, the PC we are using now. 30 years ago, we didn't expect that we want to have a PC. At the moment, we can't expect our life without PC. Is it innovation? I think yes. But it's so complex, but very easy. We didn't know that it makes our life easier. Now we know it. That's the reason why we say innovation. And with 3 letters to say what's innovation is just something which makes us to say, wow, that's great. Maybe the shortest definition of innovation. But if to think about people who are working in universities, who are active in science, for them is the simplest definition. When money transfers to knowledge or know-how, then it's a science. When knowledge transfers into money, then it's an innovation. And I think those definitions explain very easier, in a very easy way, what is innovation and how we can understand it. Because, especially here, we see transferring from knowledge into money. It means innovation is something economical process. In one museum, I made a picture about Edison's phonograph. I think everybody knows that Edison was an inventor of phonograph. Everybody knows that Thomas Alva Edison was a classical inventor, an icon of inventor. A guy who had more than 1,000 patents in the United States and Europe. But all the time the question, was he an innovator? We know that he is maybe one of the best inventors all over the time. But if we ask, is he an innovator? My answer on this question is not, because innovator can invent something, but if you invent something and you don't give it into real life, it's not innovation.